what we saw in the market. So at that point, we took the decision to discount the IMF forecast and to make to use completely different assumptions, which ended up being completely right. I mean, we were right to do so. But it was a very uncomfortable position to have, because we couldn't really, we're not really economic forecasters, so it was very difficult to explain why we thought the IMF or the OECD forecast or other institutional forecasts made no sense, and why we took a different view. We couldn't really argue our view, defend our view in a very robust fashion, and at that point we thought that the best would not to disclose exactly our economic assumptions, to keep them fairly hazy. So not necessarily the best place to be. So today we are relying on IMF forecast. Whenever the IMF changes its forecast, we change our assumptions. We change the assumption that are used as an input, and our own forecast gets affected. But there are clearly risks to the forecast, and there's a great variety of risks. The biggest wild card is what China will do, Chinese forecasts tend to vary, especially in the oil market. There's each month, because of the volatility in Chinese data, as forecasters tend to extrapolate from current conditions, any monthly change in the data tends to result in changes in longer-term forecasts. So we try to stay away from too much month-to-month volatility. But there's clearly many questions about the Chinese economy. Our view is generally that the Chinese economy will slow down, will become more consumer-oriented, less export-oriented. And we also estimate or assume that the Chinese government will support a policy that will shift some of the demand from oil towards natural gas, especially from coal to natural gas. But we see some shift from oil to gas in China in a way that's big enough to make a difference. Conversely, when it comes to Africa, there we feel that there's a lot of uncertainty as well, but we feel that the institutional forecasts underestimate the growth and the strength of the African economies in general, partly because it's very difficult. There's no robust data collection process in those countries, and a lot of the economy is not completely above board. There's a lot of gray market sector. But it looks like